Jake woke up feeling content, the recent ceremony and his deepening relationship with Kyra filling his thoughts. He looked at the pendant Sana had given him, smiling softly as he recalled the warm acceptance of Kyra's tribe. He got dressed and went to join Kyra, who was already busy preparing breakfast. "Good morning," Jake greeted her warmly. "Good morning, Jake," Kyra replied with a gentle smile. "Did you sleep well?" "Better than ever," Jake said sincerely. He sat at the table, eating quietly but happily, feeling closer to Kyra each day. After breakfast, they headed once again to Orion Market. Business continued to boom, with many customers attracted by the news of their union. Jake and Kyra worked smoothly together, supporting each other and making the busy market day easier. As Jake was talking to a customer, he noticed a woman watching them closely from a distance. She appeared curious but hesitant. After a moment, she approached slowly. She was a human woman named Leah, a trader Jake had seen occasionally but never spoken to directly. "Jake?" Leah asked quietly, clearly nervous. "Can I talk to you for a moment?" "Of course," Jake answered gently. "What can I do for you?" Leah glanced at Kyra, looking slightly unsure. "I was wondering if you could tell me about your experience. You seem so happy and accepted here, even though your relationship is unusual." Jake smiled warmly. "Honestly, it's been wonderful. Kyra and her tribe have shown me respect, kindness, and love. Sometimes customs are different, but feelings like respect and care matter most." Leah listened carefully, nodding slowly. "Thank you, Jake. Your words mean a lot to me. I've been feeling unsure about my own choices, but now I see there's nothing wrong with following my heart." Jake felt pleased to have helped her. "Trust yourself, Leah. It will guide you right." As Leah left, Kyra moved closer to Jake, smiling softly. "You have a kind heart, Jake. It's another reason I chose you." The market day continued, busy and productive. Jake found himself feeling proud of their partnership and growing bond. As evening approached, they packed up the booth and headed back to their ship. Once aboard, Kyra seemed thoughtful. "Jake, I want to show you something special tomorrow. Will you trust me?" Jake nodded immediately. "Of course, Kyra. I trust you completely." The next morning, Kyra took Jake to a hidden valley on her home planet. It was lush, green, and incredibly beautiful, filled with blooming flowers and towering trees. Jake looked around in awe, amazed by the stunning scenery. "This place is sacred to my people," Kyra explained softly. "It is where we come to reflect, find peace, and connect deeply with our chosen mate." Jake felt honored. "Thank you for bringing me here, Kyra. It's beautiful." They spent the entire day exploring the valley, talking openly and sharing their dreams for the future. Jake felt closer to Kyra than ever before, grateful for her trust and openness. As they sat by a gentle stream, Kyra took Jake's hand softly. "Jake, you've shown me kindness and understanding." "I've never felt this close to anyone," Jake smiled warmly. "I feel the same way, Kyra. You've made my life better in every way." When they returned to Orion Market the next day, they felt even stronger together. Their bond was now evident to everyone who saw them. Customers smiled knowingly, pleased by the obvious love between the two. However, not everyone was happy about their union. Rumors spread that some people still disapproved. Jake began to notice suspicious looks from a small group of traders, who clearly disliked their unusual relationship. One afternoon, Kyra stepped away briefly to gather supplies. Jake suddenly found himself confronted by one of the disapproving traders, a man named Evan. Evan spoke harshly, his voice full of bitterness. "Jake, you disgrace humans by choosing an alien as your mate. You don't belong here anymore," Evan sneered angrily. Jake stood his ground firmly, speaking calmly but confidently. "I chose Kyra because she is kind, brave, and honorable. Our differences don't matter compared to the respect and care we share." Evan scowled, clearly unwilling to understand. "You'll regret this decision." At that moment, Kyra returned swiftly, sensing trouble. She stepped protectively beside Jake, her fierce gaze locked on Evan. "Leave now," she warned coldly, her voice strong and determined. Evan quickly backed down, realizing he was no match for Kyra's strength and resolve. He left angrily, disappearing into the crowd. Kyra turned gently to Jake, her eyes full of concern. "Are you all right, Jake?" Jake squeezed her hand reassuringly. "Yes, Kyra, I'm fine, thanks to you." They continued their day without further incident, though Jake remained thoughtful. He knew some people would never accept their bond easily. However, he refused to let their narrow minds trouble him. That night, aboard their ship, Jake and Kira spoke quietly about the confrontation. Jake expressed his determination clearly. "Kyra, I'll never let anyone make me question our relationship." "I've never been happier," Kyra smiled warmly, deeply moved. "Your words strengthen me, Jake. Together, nothing can break us." They held each other gently, feeling comforted by their strong bond. Jake knew they would face challenges, but he felt confident in their ability to overcome them together. Each day spent with Kyra confirmed to him that their relationship was truly special, filled with mutual respect, trust, and love. Jake woke up feeling different today. His friendship with Kyra had grown deeper, and he felt more at ease around her. He stretched and got dressed quickly, eager to start the new day. As usual, Kyra was already awake, preparing breakfast. They greeted each other warmly, sitting together and sharing the meal. "Jake," Kyra said softly, looking serious, "I have something important to discuss with you." "What is it, Kyra?" Jake asked, noticing her thoughtful expression. Kyra hesitated briefly before speaking. "My tribe has a tradition. When someone chooses a mate, there must be an official ceremony to honor the choice. I wish to invite you to such a ceremony." Jake felt surprised but pleased. "I would be honored, Kyra, but what exactly will happen at this ceremony?" Kyra smiled gently. "We will declare our bond openly. It will show my tribe and others that we are truly united. It's very important to my people." Jake nodded thoughtfully. "Then we'll do it." The morning at Orion Market was busy as usual. Jake found himself looking forward to the ceremony, thinking about the future he and Kira would build together. Their bond seemed more natural with each passing day. Suddenly, a loud commotion interrupted Jake's thoughts. He saw a familiar figure arguing with other traders. Grant had returned, angrier than before. He was shouting aggressively, pushing his way through the crowd toward Jake's booth. "Jake!" Grant yelled, pointing a shaking finger at him. "You turned the whole market against me. My reputation is ruined." Jake stepped forward calmly, keeping his voice steady. "Grant, you caused this yourself. Your dishonest trading is why people no longer trust you." Grant's eyes blazed with fury, and he lunged at Jake, intent on attacking him. Before he could reach Jake, Kyra swiftly moved in front, blocking Grant's path. Her eyes glowed fiercely as she stood protectively in front of Jake. "Back away, Grant," she warned coldly. "Do not force me to act." Grant hesitated briefly, but then foolishly charged at her. Kyra responded with remarkable speed and skill, easily overpowering him without causing serious harm. Grant lay on the ground, stunned and embarrassed. Kyra glared down at him sternly. "Leave now," she growled. "Do not return." Grant scrambled to his feet, humiliated. He quickly disappeared into the crowd, leaving silence in his wake. Jake breathed deeply, relieved the threat was gone. "Thank you again, Kyra," Jake said softly, his voice full of gratitude. Kyra turned to him, her expression gentle once more. "I promise to protect you, Jake, always." The market slowly returned to normal, but news of the incident spread quickly. People praised Kyra's strength and courage, further increasing respect for Jake and his booth. Business continued strongly throughout the day. That evening, Jake and Kira prepared for their trip to Kira's home planet again. Jake felt excitement mixed with nervousness as they approached her village. This time, the entire tribe gathered, greeting them warmly and excitedly. Sana, the tribe's leader, stepped forward, welcoming them warmly. "Jake, we honor you today." Kyra chose well, and our people welcome you fully. Jake smiled gratefully, deeply touched by her words. Thank you, Sana. As evening fell, the ceremony began. Kyra stood proudly beside Jake, explaining each step carefully. They exchanged vows promising loyalty, protection, and respect. The tribe watched respectfully, clearly. Pleased with the pairing. After the ceremony, there was celebration. Music filled the air, and the tribe danced and sang happily. Jake and Kyra danced together, their bond strengthening with each passing moment. Jake felt joy and belonging like never before. Thank you, Kyra, Jake whispered gently as they danced. You have changed my life completely, Kyra smiled lovingly. And you have made my life complete, Jake. Later, sitting by the fire, Jake spoke quietly with Sana, learning more about the tribe's history and values. He felt proud to become part of such an honorable community. Sana clearly respected Jake, recognizing his sincerity and courage. Next morning, as they prepared to leave, Sana gave Jake a meaningful gift, a beautifully crafted pendant symbolizing unity and strength. Jake wore it proudly, promising Sana he would always honor their traditions. Returning to Orion Market, Jake and Kyra quickly settled back into their routine, feeling closer and happier than ever. Their booth continued to flourish with many people stopping by to congratulate them. Yet despite their growing popularity, Jake noticed Kyra seemed thoughtful, almost worried at times. Is everything all right, Kyra? Jake finally asked gently. Kyra sighed softly. I worry about the future, Jake. Not everyone accepts our bond easily. Some may still try to challenge us. Jake squeezed her hand reassuringly. We'll face whatever comes together. I won't let anyone harm what we have. Kyra's eyes softened, reassured by his strength. Thank you, Jake. You give me courage. Together, they faced each new day bravely. Their unity grew stronger, supported by mutual respect and deep affection. Jake found that each moment spent with Kyra brought new joy and meaning to his life. He knew, without doubt, that he was exactly where he was meant to be. Jake woke up early again, now growing used to having Kyra around. He stretched and prepared himself for another busy day at Orion Market. As he walked into the main area of the ship, he saw Kyra already awake, practicing fighting moves with smooth precision. Jake watched quietly, impressed by her strength and graceful movements. Kyra noticed Jake and stopped, smiling warmly. Good morning, Jake. Did you rest well? I did, Jake replied, feeling comfortable around her now. You're up early. Kyra nodded, picking up a towel to wipe away her sweat. Training keeps my body and mind sharp. It's our custom to be ready at all times. After eating breakfast together, they went back to the market. Jake's booth was quickly becoming popular due to the attention Kyra drew. Many people stopped by simply out of curiosity, hoping to get a look at the unusual couple. As Jake was busy explaining his goods to a customer, he felt someone lightly tap his shoulder. He turned to see a small alien girl holding out a beautiful flower. Jake bent down, smiling kindly at her. Thank you. That's very kind. The girl smiled shyly before running back to her mother. Kyra watched this interaction carefully, her expression thoughtful. What is it? Jake asked gently, noticing her curious gaze. Kyra tilted her head slightly. You are good with others, especially the young ones. This is another reason why I chose you. Jake felt warmth rising in his cheeks. Thanks, Kyra. The market day continued busily. Jake and Kyra worked well together, managing customers smoothly. Their growing bond made their teamwork effortless. Kyra was protective, but also showed a softer side, helping Jake arrange items or sharing a laugh with customers. Later that day, Jake decided to take a short break and walk with Kyra to a food stand. They bought drinks and sat down watching the busy market. I want to know more about your people, Jake said thoughtfully, sipping his drink. Tell me something interesting about your customs. Kyra looked pleased. In my tribe, honor and bravery matter most. We must always speak truth and protect those who cannot protect themselves. Jake nodded thoughtfully. I respect that greatly. Kyra's eyes sparkled with pride. Jake, I would like you to meet my tribe. Would you come with me to visit them? Jake hesitated briefly but nodded. Yes, Kira, I'd like that. That evening, they traveled to the planet where Kyra's tribe lived. Her home world was wild and beautiful, filled with lush forests and tall mountains. Kyra led Jake through a peaceful village built from wood and stone. Her people stopped what they were doing to watch. Clearly intrigued by Jake, Kyra introduced Jake to her tribe's leader, an older beast woman named Sana. Sana greeted Jake warmly, studying him carefully. You are brave to come here, Sana said, nodding approvingly. Kyra chose wisely. Jake thanked her respectfully, feeling honored. The tribe invited Jake to join a meal and share stories around a large fire. Jake spoke about his adventures, his life as a trader and Earth. Kyra's tribe listened eagerly, asking many questions and clearly impressed by his tales. Later, as the tribe danced and sang traditional songs, Kyra gently took Jake's hand. Join me, Jake, she whispered softly. Jake smiled shyly but followed her. The tribe cheered happily, pleased to see Kyra and Jake together. Jake soon relaxed, enjoying the warmth and joy surrounding them. He felt deeply accepted by Kyra's tribe. Next morning, Jake woke early again, feeling peaceful. Kyra stood beside him quietly. Thank you for bringing me here, Jake said sincerely. Your people are amazing. Kyra smiled, her green eyes glowing with happiness. They like you, Jake. They see what I see. As they returned to Orion Market, Jake felt closer to Kyra than ever. Their bond was growing stronger with each passing moment. Jake now found himself looking forward to each day spent with her. Back at the market, they quickly returned to their routine. Business was thriving, but Jake was happier about the newfound companionship with Kyra than anything else. Near the end of the day, Jake noticed an official-looking figure approaching. The officer introduced herself as Mia Bennett, an intergalactic authority investigating recent reports of conflict at the market. We've received complaints about aggressive behavior, Officer Bennett stated sternly, glancing pointedly at Kyra. Jake stepped forward quickly, his voice firm yet respectful. Kyra hasn't caused trouble. She was protecting me from a traitor who tried to harm me. Officer Bennett studied Jake closely. Can you explain exactly what happened? Jake carefully detailed the incident involving Grant, making it clear that Kyra acted only to defend him. Kyra listened quietly, grateful for Jake's strong support. Officer Bennett nodded slowly. Your story matches what others have said. However, Kyra must still be cautious. Aggression isn't permitted, even in defense. Kyra lowered her head respectfully. I understand, officer. I will be careful. Officer Bennett left, satisfied with the explanation. Jake turned to Kyra, placing a gentle hand on her shoulder. You didn't do anything wrong, Kyra. Thank you again for protecting me. Kyra looked into his eyes, touched deeply. I will always protect you, Jake. It is my honor. Jake felt a warm sense of security in her words. He knew without doubt that she would always stand by his side. As the market closed, Jake and Kyra walked slowly back to their ship. They spoke softly about their day, their thoughts, and feelings. Jake knew that Kyra was becoming more important to him with each passing moment. Back aboard their ship, they ate dinner quietly together. Jake glanced up, breaking the silence gently. Kyra, being with your tribe made me see something clearly, he began softly. Your people's way of life, their honor and courage, it's special. Kyra listened closely, her eyes bright with curiosity. Jake took a deep breath. Maybe customs and traditions are different, but respect and care aren't. You've shown me both. Every day, Kyra smiled warmly, her gaze softening. Jake, your words mean much to me. My choice was right. Jake reached out slowly, taking her hand gently. I want to understand your customs fully. Will you teach me more? Kyra nodded, clearly moved. Yes, Jake, I will teach you everything. Together, they talked late into the night. Jake listened carefully, learning more about Kira and her people. As they finally said goodnight, Jake realized how much Kira had changed his life. He knew deep down that meeting Kira was no accident. It was destiny. Jake woke up early the next morning in his quarters aboard his trading ship. Memories of the previous day's events filled his mind immediately. He rubbed his shoulder gently, still feeling the dull ache from Kira's bite. He sighed, wondering how he ended up in such a strange situation. After getting dressed, Jake went out into the main area of the ship. He was surprised to find Kira already there, busy preparing a morning meal. She looked up as he entered, her bright green eyes filled with warmth. "Good morning, Jake," she greeted softly. "I hope you slept well." "Good morning, Kira," Jake replied, cautiously, still not used to having her around. He noticed the neatly prepared food on the table, surprised by the effort she had put into the meal. "Did you do all this?" Kira nodded proudly. "Among my people, caring for one's mate means providing food and safety." Jake sat down slowly, accepting the plate she offered him. "Thank you." As they ate together, Kira talked more about her customs. Jake listened closely, finding her traditions fascinating, though still unusual to him. Despite the strange start, he found himself enjoying her company. After breakfast, they returned to the Orion market. As Jake set up his booth, Kira stayed close, helping and protecting him. Customers approached curiously, drawn by the unusual pair. Business became busier than ever. Jake's friends Ashley and Connor stopped by later in the morning. They had heard about the biting incident and came to see if Jake was all right. When they saw Kira standing beside him, Ashley laughed loudly, unable to help herself. "I heard about your little adventure," Ashley teased, smiling at Kira. "I must admit, I didn't think I'd ever see you pair with a fierce warrior." Connor shook his head, grinning broadly. "You really got yourself into an interesting situation, Jake." Jake gave them a look of mock annoyance. "Very funny. But honestly, it's not as bad as I first thought. Kira's very nice, once you get to know her." Kira nodded respectfully at Ashley and Connor. "Jake is strong and honorable. I am glad he accepted." "My claim," Connor chuckled. "Well, you're certainly the talk of the market. Everyone wants to meet the human claimed by a beast woman." Jake sighed, accepting the teasing good-naturedly. He appreciated his friend's support and understanding, despite the unusual circumstances. The day continued busily, with Kira constantly at Jake's side. She fiercely protected him from pushy customers and aggressive traders, and Jake found himself becoming more comfortable with her strong presence. Later in the afternoon, trouble appeared. Grant, another human trader known for his aggressive attitude, stormed over to Jake's booth. His face was angry, his eyes narrowed dangerously. "You cheated me, Jake," Grant shouted, pointing angrily at Jake. "You gave me worthless goods." Jake frowned deeply, standing firm. "That's not true, Grant. My goods were fair, and you know it." Grant stepped closer, his voice threatening. "You made a big mistake, Jake." Before Grant could move any closer, Kira stepped quickly in front of Jake. She stood tall and fierce, her green eyes glowing dangerously. "You will leave now," she growled deeply, "or face my anger." Grant hesitated, clearly intimidated by Kira's strength and unwavering stance. He glared at Jake one last time before stepping back, muttering angrily as he retreated into the crowd. Jake stared at Kira, feeling grateful but slightly shaken. "Thank you, Kira." Kira turned to face him, her expression softening immediately. "No one will harm you, Jake. I will always protect you." Jake felt warmth spreading inside him again. He was beginning to understand Kira's fierce loyalty. She truly cared for him, not simply because she had claimed him, but because she respected and valued him deeply. As the market began to close, Jake and Kira packed their goods. Their movements were more synchronized now, both working smoothly together. The initial awkwardness between them had faded, replaced by a growing sense of partnership. Back on the ship, they sat together quietly, sharing an evening meal. Jake found himself opening up more about his life and dreams. Kyra listened attentively, asking thoughtful questions, genuinely interested in him. When they finished eating, Jake sighed deeply, looking directly at Kyra. I must admit, Kyra, I didn't think this would work at first, but I'm starting to see your point of view. Kyra smiled gently, her eyes bright with joy. You honor me with your words, Jake. Jake smiled back, feeling his heart lighten. Maybe we can figure this out together. Yes, Kyra agreed softly. Together. They spent the rest of the evening talking openly about their hopes and dreams. By the time they said goodnight, Jake felt more at ease with the strange new path his life had taken. With Kyra at his side, he realized his life had truly become more exciting and meaningful than ever before. Jake took a deep breath as he stepped onto the bustling trading station known as Orion Market. It was one of the busiest places in the galaxy, filled with a countless mix of alien species, each selling strange and wonderful items from distant worlds. Bright lights and vibrant colors filled his vision as he walked through the crowded pathways. The noise of different languages mixed into a constant hum of excitement and commerce. Jake loved his job as a trader. He traveled the stars, meeting new people and learning about new cultures. Today, he had arrived at Orion Market with several rare human-made goods that were highly sought after in other parts of the galaxy. He hoped to trade them for valuable items he could sell back home. He made his way to a stall run by a friendly merchant named Lyra. She had traded with Jake many times before and greeted him warmly as he approached. Lyra had blue skin, golden eyes, and a friendly smile that made her easy to talk to. Hello, Jake. What have you brought me today? Lyra asked cheerfully. Jake smiled, opening his bag to show her some beautifully crafted watches, small gadgets, and rare spices from Earth. Only the best, as always. I think you'll like these. Lyra examined the items carefully, her golden eyes lighting up with delight. They began their negotiations, speaking easily with each other. Jake was so involved in their conversation that he did not notice someone else watching him from afar. Standing near another stall, Kyra watched Jake closely. Kira was a beast woman, part of a proud warrior species known for their strength and fierce loyalty. Her people were tall and strong, with sharp senses and powerful bodies. Kira had striking green eyes, sharp teeth, and a mane of thick black hair that flowed around her shoulders. Her fur-covered ears twitched slightly as she observed Jake's movements and gestures. Jake had finished his deal with Lyra and packed away the new items he received in return. Feeling satisfied, he thanked Lyra and stepped away, ready to visit other stalls. But before he had walked far, he sensed someone approaching quickly from behind. Turning swiftly, Jake barely had time to react before Kyra reached him. Without saying a word, Kyra leaned forward and bit Jake firmly on his shoulder. The bite was sharp and painful, causing Jake to shout in shock and surprise. Everyone around them stopped their activities to stare at the unexpected event. What in the galaxy are you doing? Jake demanded, pulling back and holding his shoulder. Kyra stood tall, her green eyes focused and serious. You spoke kindly to another trader. According to my people's customs, I must mark you to claim you as my mate. Jake stared at her, utterly confused and more than a little angry. Mate? I'm a human. We don't bite each other like this. Kyra's gaze was unyielding. You are human, yes, but you are highly valued among my kind. Your kindness, strength, and cleverness are respected. You spoke warmly to the trader. Others might have misunderstood your friendliness and claimed you first. Now everyone will know you belong to me. The crowd around them murmured softly, amused by the unexpected spectacle. Jake looked around, feeling trapped. He did not want to cause more of a scene, but he certainly had not expected to be claimed by a fierce beast woman. He knew a little about their people. They were known to be honorable and brave, but also fiercely protective of those they claimed. Jake sighed heavily. Look, Kyra, I appreciate the sentiment, but humans have different ways. You can't just claim me without asking. Kyra shook her head firmly. It is done. Your customs are not mine, Jake. I understand this might seem strange to you, but I will protect and care for you. Jake realized arguing here would not help. He nodded slowly, still feeling frustrated and confused. Fine, we'll discuss this later. Kyra smiled slightly, satisfied with Jake's temporary acceptance. She stepped beside him, ready to follow wherever he went. Jake noticed how others quickly moved aside as Kyra walked, showing respect and a hint of fear. Jake walked slowly back to his small trading booth. He felt many eyes watching him, whispering softly. Kyra remained close, alert, and watchful, clearly pleased with herself. As they reached Jake's booth, he stopped to face her again. Kyra, I don't understand your ways, but if you're serious, we have to find some middle ground. Humans choose their mates based on love and mutual respect, not sudden bites. Kyra tilted her head, considering his words. I understand, Jake. I did not mean disrespect. Among my people, choosing a mate is not done lightly. It is a great honor. I observed you carefully and saw your worth clearly. Jake sighed softly, seeing sincerity in her eyes. Despite the bizarre situation, he felt slightly flattered. All right, Kyra, let's take this slowly. We'll figure something out. Kyra nodded, visibly relieved and pleased with his acceptance. Thank you, Jake. You will see, we can learn much from each other. Jake smiled slightly despite himself. He returned to work, arranging his goods and greeting customers. Kyra stood protectively nearby, her presence drawing more customers out of curiosity. Jake noticed how people treated him differently with Kyra beside him. They spoke with more respect, clearly impressed by his unexpected guardian. As the busy market day continued, Jake found himself increasingly intrigued by Kyra. She was fierce yet gentle, protective yet respectful of his feelings. Despite the painful bite, he realized she had truly meant no harm. By the end of the day, Jake felt less annoyed and more thoughtful about the strange events. He and Kyra shared food at his booth, speaking openly about their very different customs. He learned about her people's traditions, their bravery, and their fierce loyalty. As darkness fell and the marketplace closed, Jake packed his goods carefully. Kyra helped him without question, lifting heavy items easily. Jake glanced at her often, noticing her beauty and strength more clearly now. Kyra, Jake began softly as they finished packing, I still don't completely understand your customs, but I appreciate your honesty. Maybe, given some time, we could learn to understand each other better. Kyra smiled gently, her eyes glowing warmly in the fading market lights. Yes, Jake, time will teach us both. Until then, I will stand beside you. Jake felt warmth spread through him, surprising him. Maybe this unusual encounter wasn't so terrible after all. As he and Kyra walked together through the now quiet market, he wondered what the future would hold for them. One thing was certain: life had suddenly become a lot more interesting. Jack and Ilara spent several peaceful days on Valoria, recovering from their intense battle and celebrating their victory. The Valorians treated them as heroes, grateful for their bravery and help. Jack enjoyed the quiet moments, exploring the core and the surrounding the core. Planet's beautiful forests, clear lakes, and stunning cities with Ilara by his side. One afternoon, as they walked along a gentle riverbank, Jack stopped and looked seriously at Ilara. We've done so much good together, but I feel there's more we could do, more people we could help. Ilara smiled warmly, nodding in agreement. I feel the same way, Jack. There are countless others in need throughout the galaxy. They returned to the Valorian leaders, explaining their desire to continue their adventures. The leaders understood and offered their full support. They gifted Jack and Ilara advanced supplies and equipment for their future journeys. After heartfelt goodbyes, Jack and Ilara boarded the Starwind once more. Jack carefully plotted a course toward distant colonies and worlds, determined to help wherever they could. Their first stop was a small human colony struggling after pirate attacks. Jack and Ilara offered medical aid, supplies, and repairs. Grateful colonists thanked them deeply. Inspired by their kindness and generosity. At another stop, they helped a planet facing severe food shortages. Alara showed the inhabitants how to cultivate hardy crops using Valorian techniques. Jack repaired farming equipment and taught locals how to maintain it. Soon, hope and life returned to the grateful community. With each world they visited, Jack and Alara's bond grew deeper and stronger. They trusted each other completely, working seamlessly as a team. They faced challenges bravely, always finding ways to help. One day, while traveling between worlds, Jack received a distress call. It was weak but urgent, coming from a damaged spaceship drifting dangerously close to a massive star. Jack quickly responded, piloting the Starwind toward the distress signal. They soon spotted the damaged ship, drifting helplessly. Jack skillfully docked the Starwind with the damaged vessel, carefully boarding it alongside ELARA. Inside, they found frightened survivors struggling to maintain life support systems. Jack quickly assessed the damage and started repairs. Elara calmed the survivors, ensuring their safety and providing comfort. As Jack worked, a sudden explosion rocked the damaged ship. Alarms blared loudly, signaling imminent danger. Jack shouted urgently, "We need to evacuate now!" Elara quickly guided survivors to the Starwind. Jack remained behind briefly, stabilizing critical systems just long enough to prevent another explosion. Smoke filled the corridors as he rushed back toward the Starwind. Elara stood anxiously at the docking bay, waiting for Jack. She felt his worry and urgency through her connection, knowing how dangerous the situation had become. Finally, Jack appeared, coughing from smoke, but otherwise unharmed. He rushed onto the Starwind, sealing the hatch tightly behind him. "Go!" he shouted, moving swiftly toward the cockpit. Elara helped secure survivors safely on board while Jack guided the Starwind away from the damaged ship. Just as it exploded in a blinding flash of light, everyone on board breathed a deep sigh of relief. Jack looked over his shoulder, meeting Alara's concerned eyes. "That was too close," she whispered softly. Jack nodded, smiling reassuringly. "We made it, together." They returned the grateful survivors to a nearby safe colony, where families joyfully reunited. The survivors thanked Jack and Elara deeply, praising their courage and kindness. Jack and Elara continued their journey, never hesitating to help those in need. They became well known throughout the galaxy, respected and admired by many. During their travels, Jack often reflected on how much his life had changed since buying the Starwind. What had started as a simple purchase had become a life of adventure, courage, and purpose, all thanks to meeting Elara. One evening, as they orbited a quiet planet, Jack and Elara sat together in the cockpit, looking at the beautiful star-filled sky. Jack gently took Alara's hand, feeling warmth and peace. "Did you ever think your life would become this?" Jack asked softly, smiling warmly. Elara laughed lightly, eyes sparkling happily. "Not at all, but I wouldn't trade it for anything." Jack smiled, feeling the same way. "Me neither." They spent quiet hours together, discussing future adventures, goals, and dreams. Each moment strengthened their bond even more, creating a deep connection based on trust, respect, and love. As days turned into weeks, they visited more worlds, offering help and friendship wherever needed. They faced occasional dangers and challenges, but together they always overcame them. One memorable adventure took them to a world struggling under harsh storms. Jack repaired vital communication equipment, allowing the planet to call for emergency aid. Elara comforted frightened inhabitants, ensuring their emotional well-being. Their teamwork and kindness brought hope and stability wherever they traveled. Jack and Elara felt deeply fulfilled, knowing they made a real difference. Eventually, they returned briefly to Valoria, warmly welcomed by their friends. Valorian leaders proudly praised Jack and Elara's continuing efforts, offering renewed support and resources. During their stay, Jack and Elara visited favorite places, walking familiar paths hand in hand. They felt deeply content, knowing they found true happiness together. Before leaving Valoria once more, Jack privately spoke with the Valorian leaders, seeking advice for a very special plan he had in mind. The leaders smiled knowingly, offering guidance and blessings. On their final evening on Valoria, Jack led Alara to a beautiful spot overlooking a sparkling lake. Beneath the soft glow of Valoria's moons, Jack turned to Alara, his eyes filled with love. "Alara," he said softly, holding her hands gently, "meeting you changed everything. You've made my life meaningful and complete. Will you stay by my side?" "Forever?" Alara's eyes filled with tears of joy, her smile radiant. "Yes, Jack, always." Jack hugged her tightly, feeling deep joy and happiness. They knew their lives would continue being filled with adventure, purpose, and endless possibilities. Most importantly, they would face everything together, united in love and strength. As they departed Valoria, ready for new adventures, Jack and Alara knew they'd chosen a life filled with meaning and joy. Together, they would continue exploring the galaxy, helping others, always guided by courage, kindness, and an unbreakable bond.